Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeds, and guess what? I am not a millionaire, but I've actually made $1 million in cryptocurrency. Now, that is a weird thing to say, and it took me a while because I had to go back to 3 or 4 different wallets and start to kind of add up and try to figure it out when I got to $1 million, which was actually about 6 months ago. That I made $1 million in cryptocurrency. Now, the question is keeping $1 million in cryptocurrency. That's the hard part. So we'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to let you guys know that in 4 years, I made a little bit over $1 million so far in cryptocurrency. Of course, just, full disclosure, like last year, I ended up cashing out, to just for living life and stuff like that. 6 figures and a half. And I've done that every year so far. So I'm not sitting on a pile of $1 million. I've just made it over that period of time. So shout out to me, letting you know that anything is possible and probable if you invest in the right stuff in cryptocurrency and you continue to just hold on and give it an opportunity for it to cook. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about what's going on in the crypto market. There are just a couple of things that are newsworthy that we're going to talk about. We're going to get into charts. Basically, I want to get there as quickly as possible, in fact. So let's break it down. The state of the economy right now is very Trumpian. It's all down and it's not pumping. By the way, if I'm moving around a lot, and I do like to kind of move around a little bit, but if I'm moving around a little bit more than normal yesterday while jogging, and for those of you that know me, I do every single day, I do calf raises because I want to build my calves, want to build my shoulders, traps, stuff like that. So there's a certain workout that I do that, but the long story short, while running yesterday, I injured my Achilles. And it hurts. Like it's been a pain in the ass. Now, BTC 157 is here to save the day. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it heals, if I heal quickly. If it does, I'll be talking about BTC 157, which is a peptide for a long time going forward. I'm on the 2nd injection of it right now. So we'll see whether or not this stuff is legit and real. And a lot of people talking about it and how good it helps to heal your body. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, this is going to be, it'll be interesting if nothing else. So shout out. But I'm going to be moving around quite a bit because it absolutely hurts today, but I'm not going to stop standing on it. You know what I mean? So pulse way down on the day. Don't know what happened there. We had you had kind of a liquidity sweep. So, whatever. LA Aura, we're starting to see things. And by the way, Aura, we're going to talk about, I did a video. I did a video on Aura that's coming out. Actually, probably should have just launched. But Aura, 21,000% is what the gain was on Aura. How crazy is that? And look at this. This thing went absolutely in the month here. It went absolutely insane. And here's the good part. It had been out for a while. I mean, you come look at it, and this is going back to 2024 where, it was at 3 cents, stuff like that. Now it's just absolutely exploded. 21,000%. 21,000 is the pump that Aura got. And I mean, by the way, this should just tell you that just because something doesn't pump for you on day one doesn't mean don't just hold on to it. I got a new script for Nomi. It's called Nomi now. I do have a new script for Nomi that there'll be a new video coming out. And yes, I do still use it. I didn't make $1 million off of it, but I've earned quite a bit in crypto. So most of mine, by the way, for those of you that remember here, most of my cryptonomy is 4 months away, because it starts to unlock in October, which I thought was going to be the top. So most of what I'm holding on to there is still not, like, it's not matured yet. So, you know, when it hits 16, Peter Schiff will start trying to date it, I guess. You know what I mean? So you look at and earning yield is incredible. I mean, earning yield is just an absolutely fantastic thing. So Aura, 21,000% in the last little while. Biggest mover in all of crypto for the last few days. We're at neutral on the Fear and Greed Index, 52. Remember the rule. When it goes to 30, buy. When it goes to 70, sell. If you do that, you're going to win, even if you think the market's going to go up. And by the way, even if you think the market is going to go up, and it will go up, by the way, there are going to be moments where you're going to miss it because, you know, at 30, you're buying, at 70, you're selling, and then it just goes parabolic. So there is a possibility that you could miss it. But remember, historically, we did the data. I gave you, as a matter of fact, to be very, very clear about it, like, we did this, and here we go. We came up with our own Bitcoin trading analysis. We came up with exactly what I said was all you're doing is when the Fear and Greed Index goes to 30, and it started in February of 2018. So February of 2018 is when it launched. Now, if you did this, then you would make 7.2 million. So, you know, let's not get it twisted. If you took what you were earning off of, you bought one Bitcoin in 2018 and you just bought it at 30 with the Fear and Greed Index, and you sold it at 70, and then you took the profits from it every single time. By the way, Jennifer Adams, if you don't see her in chat, that is my sister, my IRL sister. If you look at it from this context, if you every time you bought a Bitcoin and then you took the profits at 70 on the Fear and Greed Index, and then you held those profits in a wallet, and then when it went back down to 30, you bought it again, you would have $7.2 million in profit, and you would now own 99 Bitcoin. And you would only have made 9 total trades over the course of the last 7 years. Now, how crazy is that? So don't forget, this is very, very simple. This is the most simple premise that you could possibly use to get rich fairly quick. Bitcoin price at that time was $8,000, by the way. So what we're talking about is, you bought one Bitcoin at 3,500. It was at 3,500. It wasn't even at 8,000 at that time. It was 3,500. Then you would have sold it at 70 at 12,000, which means that you would have gotten yourself in a position where once the dip happens, you might be able to accumulate more. And at that point, Bitcoin dips down at the 30, it goes down to 5,500. And at 5,500, you're able to buy 2.5 Bitcoin. And then from there, you sell it from 5,500, you sell it at 70, which is 18,000. Forget everything else that it does. At 18,000, you would have sold. And guess what? You would have made $31,818. Then you would take that $31,818 and you would have bought it again at 30 at $7,500. which means that you would have at that point 6.7 Bitcoin. So this is absolutely nuts. The profit, I'm sorry, you would actually put in 2.5. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. You put 2.5 Bitcoin in, and then you would have ended up with 4.24 because you would have gotten a parabolic run. And then it happens multiple times over. You would make millions upon millions if you just followed the simplest of strategies. When the fear and greed index is 30, buy Bitcoin. When it goes to 70, sell Bitcoin. By the way, just do it in one wallet. Over the course of 7 or 8 years, you're not going to be, look, if you don't put a little bit of risk into it, you're not going to be a millionaire. But if you did put a little bit of risk into it, you would make catastrophically awesome levels of money. The average profit per trade, because of all the profit that you've made off of the final trades when you had 76 to 90 Bitcoin at that point, because of that, you would have made 7.2 million or $800,000 for every trade. And remember, in that first trade, you made 8,000. So guys, it is very, very simple. This is the easiest strategy for you to get rich. Now, we're at 52 right now, which means we're in neutral territory. So what you're looking to do is when you get down into the fear area, you're going to buy. When you get up into the greed area, you're going to sell. If you would like to front run the movement and you would like to set it to maybe 75 or something like that, can't blame you. You know, as a matter of fact, we could do an analysis of that. And we could see, like, what would it look like if I had waited until 25? How many trades would I have? If I waited for it to go to 75, how many trades would I have had? Now, you know, what would it look like ultimately? What is my risk? What is my reward? You know, where would I be? So, and by the way, I think if you wanted to do between 40 and 60, probably works out as well. I'm not going to do the math for you on that today. I mean, really, I'm not going to do the math for you anyway. Grok is going to do it for you, but you get my point. So, Crypto Quant says that we are continuing to lose supply off of exchanges. Fantastic. Bull market. Are we at the end, or are we close to the end of the bull market? According to the 30 top indicators, we are not even close. All right. There's no signal yet. We have not hit any of our signals to indicate we are getting to the top of this bull market. Now, the reason that we're not getting those signals, by the way, just for full clarity, is because we have yet to have a massive altcoin season. That's the reason. So, with that being the case, then we're going to look at this. When we start to see some of these altcoins really rally and start to run, then we're going to see some of these things start to light up, because that in itself indicates a symbol that we're getting close to a top. So we'll be watching that. Now, when it comes to buying right now, I would stay away from Kaya. I would stay away from at the moment. I'm not saying I'm going to be right about this because it makes me nervous here, but Hype is still pretty much in that upper neutral zone. Uniswap is still up there. Remember, those things had a nice little run just recently. Quick, possibly Kaya, maybe Tut, BCH, all of these are just still kind of looking like they're in that sell range, right? Like they're not going to spike very much. But when you come down here, you've got HBAR looking like a buy, TIA looking like a buy, ATH, which is the Ether, looking like a buy, OM still looking like a buy. And by the way, I haven't accumulated any more OM for whatever reason. For the last couple of days, I've been getting like 0 rewards from KCEX. So, I had last week, I was getting, $50, $70, $100 a day. And then all of a sudden I'm getting nothing off of KCEX for like a week. And by the way, that is an indication that the market retail is just kind of idle right now, waiting to see how it plays out. And I'm going to tell you from Michael Vandepop what he says about it. As a matter of fact, let's do that right now. The FOMC meeting comes in today, and usually that provides the bottom for Bitcoin the day before. It's standard. Risk off prior to the meeting, risk on again afterwards. What does that mean? That means that the bears have an opportunity to accumulate and dunk on and drop the price. Liquidity being taken on the charts, which provides a standard opportunity for Bitcoin to accumulate. On top of that, M2 supply is about to go up substantially. This means get Bitcoin at discount before you'll buy it back at way higher numbers. like always. So we do have our long on Bitcoin. We're still sitting on that. I'm not under, I'm still up on it. So I'm not going to make a move at this point to accumulate more Bitcoin, but there's a big move coming for Bitcoin. There's a big move coming. Today's certainty with the market. And by the way, remember, if we get surprised and we get a rate cut, which most people are not expecting to see a rate cut, but there is a potential for a rate cut. But if we get a rate cut, we're going to go parabolic, right? I think that we're going to have a massive move. If we don't, it doesn't matter. We're still going to go up because the market doesn't like uncertainty. And what the market is sitting on right now is uncertainty. It doesn't matter what Jerome Powell, which direction we go at this point. The market just needs to know so that they can place their bids and they can place their bets in the proper situation so that we know what's happening. So remember that we're so close to it. And by the way, I got something really interesting to show you in just a moment. Now, onto the Bitcoin ETFs. The flow of capital is still positive coming into Bitcoin, even on these days when you see this, when the market is dumping a little bit, when you see these downward momentums, when you see, you're down $20 billion on the day, you're down $30 billion on the day. Why are people still going into Bitcoin? Because it's inevitable. I hope you're starting to see it. Now, the Ethereum ETF, what did we see? We saw that 1 day of outflow, but guess what? More inflow coming from Ethereum. Ethereum is ready for an absolute sending, okay? And that, by the way, will lead us to a massive altcoin season. All of the pieces, are you looking at it and are you seeing it, right? All the pieces are lining up. This is the flow of money going into Ethereum every single day. There was $2 million in outflow, but that's it. When you come down here, guess what? It's all coming in. It's all flowing into that upside. We're getting all of that momentum right now. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers and absolutely crazy. And look at all the Ethereum that they're buying right now. Guys, I don't know what to tell you if you're not paying attention, but there's a lot happening here. Also, this is the scam. I don't know what's going on with this 24-hour DEX volume. Look at this shit right here. When you look at the 24-hour DEX volume, there's BSC is sitting at $11.2 billion. Guys, I am telling you, I don't know what fucking scam is going on at BSC right now. I don't know what CZ Binance is involved in, but there is not $11 billion in trade volume happening on BSC right now. That is ludicrous. Not the rapper that Justin Bieber made famous, that he discovered him. He discovered him, by the way. So, not that. So, it's just insane that all of that volume is happening on BSC. And here's the thing. It's not happening on Ethereum. Ethereum is at 2.5 billion, but it's not happening over there. It's not happening on Solana at 2.1 billion. But why? Solana is where the meme coins are, right? And if it were true that there was $11 billion in volume happening on BSC right now, there would be way more volume on Solana. So something is wrong over here. BSC is doing some what the French would call some janky bullshit, and something bad is going to happen. And I'm just warning you guys now. Something bad's going to happen. Now let's talk about Floki, because we haven't talked about Floki in quite a while. Hafthor Bjornsson, or as you guys might know him, the Mountain, or he was the guy who played the Mountain in Game of Thrones. He is going to be streaming Floki's Play to Earn MMORPG live and show the world what true Viking strength looks like in the metaverse. So shout out to Floki. Valhalla is being beta tested right now by the Mountain from Game of Thrones, and it's going to be streaming live on Twitch. And let's pop in here right now and see what we see. All we see right now is an advertisement, so I don't know. And Sheridan says, I'm so drunk right now, you could fly across the map and destroy everything, and I would think that's fine. Level him up, yes. I guess for this, we're getting quite a few ads. We got 8 seconds left of these advertisements, and then we should see our first look, or at least reasonably a first quick peek at what is the new Floki MMO. And I already, god damn it, I hate this shit, by the way. I hope the game goes fine, but if it's a tactical RPG, I'm not doing that shit. I like action games and stuff like that, but I am not a tactical RPG guy. Fuck that. So let's talk about charts. And by the way, no disrespect to Floki. I'm sure the game is going to be, you know, what some people will call fun, but it's just, tactical RPGs to me are bullshit. I ain't playing them. So anyway, the market is now up 11 billion on the day. We were down 30 billion at one point recently. Bitcoin starting to move a little bit. Might be a little signal here. I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it looks like there might be a little signal that we're going to get a rate cut, because if you're going up on a day when you should be going down as the bears are getting an opportunity, somebody could be front running and something big could be happening. But as far as the day goes for Bitcoin, we've got our highs and our lows. So what I'm looking for right now is I would look for Bitcoin to make a move up into this range right here. In a best case scenario, about 108,889, which it was at, you know, not that long ago. We're talking about what, that Monday. So we were at 108,000 just a short while ago. So I think we're going to test that one more time. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to test up here where I said before. 110,000 could be on the agenda today. We could see an enormous spike on Bitcoin going there. Now, the question is, how far down could we go? And let's look and let's see. We've already gotten there. So if we get a strong bounce, then that bounce is going to be right here. We got a large range today, and we're doing that because it's FOMC day. So we've got this range right here of 98,000, 97,000. That is the range that we're playing in for this moment. That's the danger zone, I guess. That's going to be our danger zone. Right here is going to be our bounce area right there. So we could go down to 101.5. And let's look at our liquidity level and see what we're looking at on the liquidation chart. Liquidation chart should show us most likely 101,500 is where some capital is going to be sitting. So we'll look at a 1 week chart and see if we see anything. 101.5 right there. That's the end of the liquidity level. You can see that right over here. There's a little spike and it gets real purple from that point on. Also 102, roughly 102.6, somewhere like that. We could see that happen as well. Zooming out just a little bit more, you're going to see it start to get a little bit more green and yellow up near the top. Again, that liquidity pool is sitting right there, still kind of attractive and in range. Goes down to about 100,000. So 105.53 is where I think we're going to bounce if we get a bounce. If not, we should also recognize that we've got this right here, then we've got this right here, and we got this right here. We've got lower highs coming up every single time, which means that we are still running it up. So again, a surge up into 110 does not seem untoward to me right now. So if you're going to set bids today, then I would expect that you would set bids most likely right where we are right now is not a horrible spot, because if you just consider that this is our range right now, then a test down here at 102-ish and a move up to 110-ish would be on tap. And I wish I could go back in time and I could hit that Control-Z button and just start rewinding everything all the way back to where we set our original box here. Our original box was, in fact, where is my rectangle? Our original box was actually right there. So we're still in line with our previous range. Actually, our range was 100,000. God damn it. You know what? It was actually right there. That was our original range. Son of a bitch. Sure is. And we should need that on the daily. Actually, let's do that on the daily over here. There we go. All right. So this was Let me get it right. That doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. That does not feel right. Right there. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the range right now, 101,000 to 110,000. We could see an absolute surge today. This could be the moment. Again, if we get a surprise with the FOMC, then it's going to happen. VET. So I told you guys, I'm a big fan of VET. VeChain is just, guys, I think that VeChain is set and primed as one of the chains that'll take over crypto, and it's only a matter of time. Now, it's the reason that I'm so bullish on VeChain is because of all of the like these guys are partnered with some of the bigs everywhere. And remember, in the last run, it went up to 27 cents. So it's 10x away from its all-time high. If you're a fan of VeChain, then remember what the market looked like at that time. And I don't know where it falls. Number 44 right now, 1.8 billion market cap. Partner with the UFC. It's got a who's who. Let me show you, as a matter of fact. It's got a who's who of partners on VeChain. We did a video about this the other day. Dana White is the new VeChain advisor. That's interesting because it's great advertisement, but I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to move a lot of needles. But here is where it gets interesting. BYD, COS, DNP, Deadstock, the DHL Innovation Center, DIG, DNV, Givenchy, Fresh Supply, all of these companies are using the VeChain in order to run their God, my God, now I forgot what it was. Logistics. Jesus Christ, get your shit together. Price Waterhouse Cooper, Sam's Club. Guys, this is a who's who of businesses around the world. So Walmart, China, Arcit, I mean, they've got, it just keeps going and going and going. So what I'm saying is I really think that VeChain is going to be completely undervalued. And if you just consider where it is right now, and then you consider what would happen if it fulfilled its golden ratio, which is right there. If it fulfilled its golden ratio, the golden ratio is right here. 100, you need 1.4 million VeChain in order to become a millionaire. We did this the other day, but I want to reiterate 35x. So if you just consider VeChain at 1.8 billion market cap, we're talking about a 70 billion market cap, and it's probably going to do that. Okay, that is a significant run that I think that VeChain is going to go on. So XRP, I think XRP is a step from breaking out. We're not going to look at too much XRP today. The one piece that we're going to talk about with XRP is very, very soon we're going to see the actual lawsuit dropped. Once the actual lawsuit is dropped, then I would consider that this thing is going to absolutely explode. Looking at it from a larger time frame, let's look right there. Let's look right there. So if you can get in at the range near the bottom of this, and look at this, by the way, it's, yeah, that level right there. So 207 is a great entry point right now. So I would be looking at a move to 207 right there. And I want to tighten that up a little bit. That's not exactly right. There we go. 236. So today, if you were in the mood to take a risk, then you wouldn't be unserved by taking a buy at this level, looking for it to move up into this level. It's only about a 10-15% gain, but 10-15% of a good bag is an even better bag. Ethereum, look at this. This is ridiculous. Okay. Ethereum is going to explode. Now, guys, I don't know for sure that it's going to explode. I'm guessing that it's going to explode. But look what happens when Ethereum consolidates in these ranges for these times. Okay. Right there, consolidation, massive downside move. Okay. That doesn't mean that we're going down. Consolidation in range, massive upside move. Ethereum likes to do this. And what it's doing right now, it did right here. And then boom, took off, went crazy. And you see this, by the way, repeating itself over and over and over and over again. Right here, you got this move, you got this upward momentum right here, you got this upward momentum right here, you got this consolidation in range, then you got the bear, you got the bear trap, has not played out yet. So you'll probably get a bear trap, then you'll get a move back down into this range, and then boom, you're going to get a big breakout. And look, I'm telling you right now, we're consolidating a little bit higher on an uptrend. I think we're largely in an uptrend right now. I think that we're going to an all-time high with Ethereum very, very soon. If we just consider, where did that start? Where did that move go? That move went right there, and then boom, we got this sort of sideways action, right? So if we were just looking at it from a simple standpoint of the bottom of that to the top of that range, and then we do the same thing over here, then guess what? We're getting close enough right there where we can make an argument at 4,700 that it's going to run up to the all-time high. So I think that Ethereum is ready for an absolute monster surge. So as Jacob Fatu would say, get in where you fit in. Yeah, you know I mean, or whatever it is that he says. I don't speak Samoan. So is it Samoan? Are they Samoans? Are they? They're Islanders for sure. Samoan? I think so. Fatu. Anyway, Trump is worse than Biden. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. But I know there's some questions. There's certainly some questions about some of the things that are going on right now. I would, in this situation, I would defend Donald Trump. I'm not a fan of, I'm not a fan of his, but I do think that he is the best thing for crypto. Some of the things that are not happening right now, I mean, whatever. I'm sure you cannot like it, but ultimately I think it's going to be good. Ondo, I still waiting for Ondo to have that move. Again, I think that Ondo is probably destined for a absolute boom. We were wrong completely here. Like it was breaking up and away. And it's, absolutely broke down. And by the way, this is not Ondo. This is the market. This is the market doing that, weighing us down right there. So, whatever. SWE also underperforming. SWE could, by the way, look, I'm going to say that you got a generational entry opportunity. Matter of fact, what I would do is I would go a spot, by the way, if you want to go long, but I would set a buy order right now at 233 on SWE, thinking that it will have a significant bounce and rally once it reaches that spot right there. Once it reaches the spot on the chart where it got some support previously, or even down here, once it reaches that 215, 218, I would make sure that if you do it, a little DCA will go a long way. But I would look for a bounce at 233. And I mean, when I say bounce, by the way, I mean like all-time high, significant bounce. Like I think I think that SWE is about to have a big time run. OM, I'm not losing any. I've not lost any faith. We got Crypto Princess. We have a legend in the house. What is going on? So I'm not really losing any faith in OM, but it's taking longer, and it's taking longer because the markets are still doing their bullshit. So until we see an actual breakout, in the market, I mean, and some altcoin money starting to flow, then we're just kind of at the behest of weak hands. And, there's not much you can do to fight off weak hands. What really needs to happen for, and this is going to be significant, by the way, but what really needs to happen to reestablish some sentiment for OM is it needs to test the 200 MA. The 200 MA is currently $3.71. So it is very difficult for this thing to go bullish at this point. What I would look at, by the way, is this trend right now. It's coming down right here. So that goes into July. If I've got that right, like if I'm looking at this from, the trend line standpoint and say, well, from here to here, it seems to be, I think I've got that kind of right here. So it looks like the middle of July, just as a guess, okay? Just as a guess, the middle of July puts us right here where this sort of support zone was. And I would think that that's going to be where you're going to actually see that move right there. Like that's that's when I would suggest that it's going to happen. And you know, you never know. You never know. But I'm guessing that that's going to happen right around there. So mid-July. So I'm going to hold that bag for a few more months and see what happens there. I haven't bought any more. Again, haven't got any money off of KCEX in a few days. Devi, by the way, and got into an argument yesterday with one of the guys in the chat, and he's like, I don't like, by the way, I don't want you to be, basically what he said was, I hate the fact that you're honest with the people that watch your show. I despise the fact that you tell people the truth. You should lie to them so that people buy. That's what he said. He didn't say it in those words. That's what I heard. Anyway, what we didn't have was we didn't have the top of this range get fulfilled. So that means that we are now in a more bearish scenario where it's playing like this. You're seeing that right there. You're getting that tightening of the range, if you will. And you're not getting full bounces. And that basically means that no new buyers are stepping in. What you're seeing is you're seeing buyers selling out, and you're seeing no new buyers stepping in. Or if you see new buyers stepping in, they're just flushing old investors back out with their buys. Okay, so that's what you're seeing right now. So again, I told you yesterday, I think that there's a real possibility that we can come back down and do the test here at the bottom. And we are not that far away from 40 cents one more time. So I would suspect that we're probably going to see this, and then we're going to see their market maker probably takes it back up to like 55 or 56 cents. And then from there, probably down again. I mean, it's going to have to break out. It's going to have to break above. It's going to have to inspire some investor confidence right now. And crying and bitching in Telegram, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. What's going to do it is some real world announcements that are going to change the fundamental dynamics of the way Devi is working right now. And they are hamstrung where they can't do anything until their partner says, you know what, now is the time. So what are we looking at? What we're looking at is what I just told you. And that is this range right here. This little bottom over here is right where we're bouncing and finding support. Well, guess what? The longer this takes, the less support there's going to be. And if that breaks down, then the next move is going to be to 33 cents. 33 cents is going to be the top of that range right there. So that's the next move if Devi doesn't hold its position. So I don't know whether it will or not. Luna Classic. So Luna Classic did exactly what we predicted yesterday. And by the way, I mean, it's right there. This is the bottom over here. 4046. Okay. What you recommend for average people outside of Bitcoin? So SWI too high. SWI is not too high. SWI's at $2.80 right now. And let me just be frank with you. If you were to zoom out and say, well, where does SWI go? What does SWI have for adoption? I mean, if you took Fibonacci, and if you're bullish with SWI, then SWI is headed to a minimum of $13. So that is an easy 6x for almost anybody at that point. I'm saying easy. I mean, I think it's easy. When you look at it from a price standpoint, it's a number 11 crypto or number 12 crypto at 9 billion market cap. So based on the fact, again, this is one of those cryptos that does the same thing. It does. These major institutions have adopted SWI. When you look at when you look at their crawl, then here we go. Their crawl is Franklin Templeton, Bluefin, Cetus, Aftermath, Supra. I don't know all of these, which is why I'm not saying them all. Navi, RPC. I wonder if RPC is right party contact. Alibaba, Gummy. These are big names in the market. Again, they're just the ones that I know. I don't know everybody in there. But Franklin Templeton is gigantic. Now, that means to me that SWI is going to fulfill its destiny. But let's talk about what its ultimate destiny is. If we look at that Fibonacci and we say, well, a lot of these things like to go to the top of their range, you're looking at $26. So you're looking at an easy 10x right there. That's a lot. Okay. And now it's driving me crazy because I misspelled become. God damn it. There you go. So you need 76,923 sweet. If you don't have that kind of money, if you don't have that kind of capital and you're looking for something that's going to just absolutely explode and make you a millionaire based on a low investment, it's going to be Devi. Okay. It's going to be Devi. The reason for that is their partner, and I'm spoiler alerting you right now for what their partner is. Their partner is NASDAQ. Okay. So this thing will run to $50. Okay. That's what NASDAQ, that's the power of NASDAQ for a company. Okay. That NASDAQ is bigger than Franklin Templeton. NASDAQ is bigger than PricewaterhouseCoopers. NASDAQ is like the Dow Jones. It's like the Learjet sort of all this stuff. It's the G6 or whatever the fuck stupid thing that you need to buy right now to put on your necklace and your grill in order to say, hey, I'm awesome. Whatever that is, that's what this is. So $50 would mean it would have a $5 billion market cap. And do you think that a blockchain running NASDAQ at $5 billion is no, that's not bad. This thing is going to go parabolic. It just takes an announcement and a few announcements coming one after the other, brought to you in part by NASDAQ. So when all that happens, Devi is the one that's going to give you that crazy, 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 easy 100x. Okay. Karen says, I sent you a screenshot this morning. Oh, yeah. Karen said this morning there was a, we're not talking about Devi really a lot today, except that that's going to be the one. But today there's a 4 p.m. UTC, which is 10 a.m., which is in 18 minutes. Devi is going to go into a live discussion. Tom Anderson will be on with Austin, and they're going to be talking about Devi. So if you're interested in that, you should certainly go look and watch. I don't know if they have anything of value to really add at this point. I think really they're just kind of touching some of the finer pieces of it, but they've been doing the roundtables and stuff like that. So, I'd be watching for it. I'd be looking for it. Now, if you want, make sure you get yourself some CC coin, CC $, CCR, BCB. Grab as much as you can. There's going to be a big move on this thing. I'm telling you, at some point, we're going to get just an absolute parabolic, crazy sort of run. The money is flowing back into the market. Well, again, there's not going to be anything. There's not going to be anything that moves incredibly well, in my opinion. And we can see anything like Arrow breaking out right now. There are certain things that might have some opportunity right here. Cent is getting sent. Circle's up 10% again on the day. It's 100. Circle is now $164. Are you fucking kidding me? That is absolutely insanity. Circle is going to be huge. USDC is going to take, look, Circle USDC is going to replace USDT at some point very, very soon. There is too much going on right now. You're going to see a lot of money, a lot of smart money starting to move into Circle and USDC, which is now number 7, 61 billion market cap. Tether, 155 billion market cap. We start breaking this down and we start looking at it by market cap. 155, and let's look at it. That's the 1 year, right? 155 billion in market cap there. USDC market cap 1 year, 61 billion from 32 billion. So it basically effectively doubled, while USDC went up, or USDT went up from 100 to 150, 50%. So, woohoo! I don't get in Devi is the 30-day hold. They need to explain it. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what a 30-day hold is on Devi. Nonetheless, let's keep going here. Puff is breaking out again. So if you bought some Puff on the dip, right now, you're probably feeling pretty good. That dip was really, really deep down here, and basically 3x'd from there, ran up to almost 0.003. Need to get it back into that dollar range, though. You need to get that 1 penny sort of range right there. Will it do it? I don't know if it will, but I mean, possibilities certainly exist. But all of this channel, everything is brought to you right now by Blocky. If you are not, you should have yourself some Blocky. And by the way, guess what happened? I gave you this because I said, it doesn't make any sense, right? Just follow me on this. My lines are just ridiculous and, shit like that. And, I'm looking at this line right here, coming all the way up here, blah, 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 blah. And that right there, we can go ahead and remove for the moment. We are in a channel right now. And guess what it did? It went from the bottom of the channel, I told you, to the top of the channel, I told you. And it's not huge range, but what we're looking at and what we're looking for is we're looking for a breakout right now of Blocky. By the way, any day now, we should see Altcoin Daily. Altcoin Daily is doing a video on Blocky, which could, in fact, I'm not saying that it will, but could, in fact, take it up to 1 penny or at least half a penny. So we look at it from this context right here. We're at the top of the range. We haven't flirted with a breakout yet, okay? But look at this. We're flirting with a breakout right now. How are we flirting with a breakout? Well, if you look at this from this context, if you zoom in, you see every time we hit this top, we bounce down. We hit this top, we bounce down. We hit this top, we bounce down. And we've kind of ranged right there. And then bam, right here, look at that. For the last almost 24 hours, we're just right there trying to break out. So that is a breakout waiting to happen. The question is, how high does it go? Now, logically speaking, right there, 0.027, right there is going to be the next resistance right there. So 2 zeros 22 seems to be where Blocky is probably like a magnet headed. That'd be a nice one. The other thing is, Roger is putting a lot of work into it right now to advertise, find new eyes, find new people who are going to look at Blocky for the moment that it's really time for it to run. So you'll start to see CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, you'll start to see places like Benzinga, Cointelegraph, places where you can do advertisements and stuff. I think you're going to see Blocky being advertised on some of those sites, which is going to attract new viewers. Same thing with Altcoin Daily. The most important thing right now, the most important thing for Blocky right now is finding new people to look at it. That's what Roger's doing right now. Does it mean that Altcoin Daily is going to have a bunch of new investors step in? No. It's going to mean that a lot of people will be familiar with Blocky that were not familiar with Blocky before. So if they don't decide to invest today, they will later, because then you're going to have a lot of advertisements on Cointelegraph and stuff like that. And guess what that means? That means that it is my estimation, $1 million is going to enter Blocky. And if $1 million came into liquidity right now, that would be 6, 7. That would be about a 20 million market cap. So probably 10x, 15x from where it is. You know what I mean? Andreas Syme says, why are you so sure on NASDAQ? They're pretty tight-lipped about it, even if not clip up. Just a lot of smiling. Okay, so let me tell you why I am. All right. It's going to take me a second to get there. But the reason that I figured it out and that I'm 100% certain, and I'm supposed to say 99.9% or some bullshit like that. The reason is because, so Austin and some members from the team were talking to their they were talking to some people about what could possibly happen, right? NASDAQ is looking to create an exchange that will allow zero-time settlement, that will allow institutional investors. Again, I apologize, guys. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm rocking back and forth because my Achilles is messed up. But so if I'm making you nervous, or if you're getting high because of this, then gross. Anyway, so here is the deal. The way they were talking, November 10 of 2023, over 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, I put out a video where I was talking about BlackRock files an Ethereum ETF, and that NASDAQ will oversee a lot of this different stuff. And that led me down a rabbit hole where in the month of November of 2023, I started talking about what NASDAQ was doing. NASDAQ was looking for a blockchain. They were looking for a partner, and they were looking for to create basically an institutional level, institutional grade exchange that non-institution could still use. So all of the words that they used are the words that Devi have been using since they announced that they had a partnership with a major worldwide fintech firm. And a lot of people insinuated and hinted and stuff like that because nobody really knew. Like maybe it was BlackRock, maybe it was Dow Jones, maybe it was whatever place it was. Everybody had their own idea. And then when I heard about it, and I wasn't the first to hear about it, and the team never confirmed anything, none of that. Then I remembered, wait a minute, didn't I talk about this shit? Why is this so familiar? And I couldn't remember because I forget some of this shit after I do it sometimes. Then I remembered it's got to be something. And I remembered when it was. I remembered when I was talking about it. I remembered that I was having this conversation and I couldn't put it together. And then I realized, oh yeah, it's when BlackRock was doing the ETF thing. So then I looked at BlackRock and then I found NASDAQ. I even changed the title on this because at one point it was just BlackRock Files Ethereum ETF. Now I changed it to NASDAQ will oversee so that when I want to go back and look for NASDAQ, then I know that this video here I was talking about. And I'm saying the same thing that they're saying. Now, if I'm saying the same thing that they are saying, what does that mean? That means that the same script is being used all around. So for those of you that don't believe that it's NASDAQ, you could be right. I'm not saying that I'm right, okay? Actually, I am saying I'm always right. You're wrong. Anyway. But listen, nobody's 100% certain, but nobody else fits the profile of the vague information that we got. Nobody fits the profile based on the article that I read, and I read that article live on that stream. You can go check it out, November 10, 2023. Nobody, all of it matches up. It's Devi. Devi and NASDAQ have a partnership. Okay, so when that happens, and by the way, when they make the announcement, it will be before the launch of the chain, or not the chain, but the exchange. So before the launch of the exchange, and the question at that point becomes, what happens in that regard? And I don't know, because there's really nothing. There's really nothing in this chat that gives you any information. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real, there's nothing out there that really. Look, here's one thing that I will tell you. They are TradFi in many different ways, and one of the problems, if you will, in so much as there is an actual problem, has been that TradFi moves slowly. They don't move quickly, and what we're watching is a slow moving thing, and they're not incentivized and motivated. Like, they don't care what the price is. And this is what I've said. And I think Davin, I don't know if Davin watches me or watched me, but I think he got upset with me at one point. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's other people who saw what I said, maybe relate it. But I said that the Devi token is not really important to the team right now, because, and it's not because they don't, it's not because they're not looking to protect your value. It's because the Devi token doesn't earn them money right now. What earns them money is a partnership and partnerships with people. They're building a business, and the important part is making sure that the business runs and functions. Why would they concern themselves with the Devi token? Because at this point, it's a token. It's not a coin yet. It hasn't been migrated over. It hasn't, they've done nothing with it. So all it is right now, and all it represents, is speculative value. What it represents in the future is a coin that you can use to provide liquidity for the Dev exchange, so you can make money off of it. And that matters when they actually have an exchange launched. So I don't think that the token, until it becomes a coin, I don't think that we really have any kind of, I don't really think they're incentivized to do anything with it at this point. That's what I've meant the entire time. It doesn't mean that they don't care. They care deeply about the success of everything. And they know, in my mind, they know that once they really, hit the gas and make announcement after announcement, or whatever's going on, or once they show the integrations, all of those kind of things, everybody who's sold, every single seller in this regard is going to look like a fucking retard. Okay, they're going to look like a moron, an idiot, some dumbass. Okay, and some of them are going to be like, "Well, now we did trying to trade it, and you did, I get that when they find the next one." That's how you sound in my brain when you sell Devi. So at this point, other than getting hacked, by the way, other than getting hacked, which I did, but other than getting hacked, I've never sold any Devi. As a matter of fact, I buy little amounts every once in a while. When somebody does a partnership with me or something like that, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to do, I want you to do a video or something like that," then I sell some of what they have and I buy a little bit more Devi, stuff like that. So I am committed. I'm committed, number one, to the Devi project, and number two, to buying it at low prices. So when I say that I think it's coming down to 34 cents, that's actually me wishing. Okay, because look, I'll tell you this. This was at 12 cents at one point. If I can get this goddamn thing back down to 12 cents, I'm buying all of it. You know what I mean? Like I would be buying it. I would be backing up the Brinks truck, because to me, that is a generational entry. And again, it's going to go to $50. Like I'm sure of this. Now, I don't know that it's immediately going to go, because here's the thing: $1 billion market cap, and a lot of things take a drink, at 50 billion market cap. 50 billion market cap is at $12 right there. So I think that 1 billion, and if it goes to 1 billion, it will still, to me, be a resounding success. Ultimately, with NASDAQ and with the other alleged entities, which are some countries that are going to adopt. And by the way, there's a lot of countries adopting blockchain. It's not just about NASDAQ. It's not just about some of these sovereign nations that are adopting DevX as their blockchain of choice. It's not just about that. It's about the sum total of everything and the announcements that are going to start coming out, and the fact that they're going to move to America. It's going to be tax-free at some point. Oh, shit. It is simple, guys. It is simple. Devi is your future right there. And if you don't want Devi, then might I suggest what I said earlier? Get yourself some Blocky. Blocky's at 1621, up 3% on the day, but it's going to have one of those 48% days pretty soon, like Puff right here with that big run right there, or Winecoin with its 33% pump today. Like it's just like the rest of these, it's going to have just a real breakout sort of moment. Remember, all of this stuff is just kind of consolidated in these bullshit ranges right now. But the money is going to start flowing back into this market, and you're going to see a big breakout. So it is my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not qualified to tell you what to do with your money, except stop beating off into it and then trying to use it as money at a store, because that's gross. But why did I say that? Because I got issues. So what I think is boom. And then boom, we're going to make a big test up here. And I don't think that's right. I don't think 29 was right. I think I said 22. Somewhere down this sort of range, right? Wait a minute. There it is right there. That's the one. So that range right there is where I think it's going to go next. Also, I did talk to Roger. I did talk to some of the people. I did, my thing was, you got to be listed on CoinMarketCap. You got to be listed on CoinGecko. If you want people to pay attention to you and you're a serious project, it doesn't come by sitting on Dex Screener and Dex Tools. It comes by getting listed on exchanges. It comes by getting by showing up over here. So when I type in Blocky, did I get some goddamn Blocky? And there ain't no goddamn Blocky over here. So there's Block W or Block V, whatever the fuck that is. There's no Blocky. All right. So there you have it. All right. That's the show, guys. For those of you that are wondering why I'm wearing a Chicago Bears jersey today, the reason for that is because I want to wear the jersey of the Super Bowl champion months before they go to the Super Bowl. I'm just messing around with you. Remember, by the way, last Monday night, WWE Raw was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it sucked. It was the worst episode on the worst stage, the most loserist WWE Raw of all time. Totally gay. And we'll see what happens there. I'm just kind of messing around there with the Green Bay fans. Hopefully, the Chicago Bears are going to have a good season. I'm going to be back to making content for the Chicago Bears very, very soon. In fact, I took about 6 months off from making content from the Chicago Bears because the season was over, and I'm going to start running it back up. Selmo says, Detroit Lions this year's Super Bowl. There is no chance of that happening. Like, I don't see. They did not upgrade anything about their team. So I see Detroit missed an opportunity. I don't see an upgrade for the Detroit Lions so far. I see enormous upgrades across the Chicago Bears. I don't see enormous upgrades on the Green Bay Packers. And I think the Minnesota Vikings were just, I think the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know what the hell happened last year, but that is not that team. Okay. So, and JJ McCarthy's taken over as the quarterback for Minnesota. So there's going to be some growing pains over there. I think this is the year. If there is a year for the Chicago Bears to actually make a statement in the NFC North, this actually is the year. So I'll be back to making content for them in a couple of days. And that's it. That's the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice.